All right. This is the mayor of Truth City, and I have a message to share with you all. This message is about truth, right? So the message for today is truth. Because me being the mayor of Truth City, I gotta talk about what my city represents, right? Because ever since I got elected as the mayor of Truth City, I said to the people that I will uphold the ideals and values of this city. And one of the ideals and values of this city is the truth. So I just want to share with everyone our city's ideology, our city's way of life and creed and all that stuff. So the topic, like I said before, is we're going to discuss truth. All right. So what is truth? The property of being in accord with facts or reality. That's the definition of what truth is, right? And like I've done in other videos, I have certain points that I'm going to, discuss so that we can further break down the topic. All right? So my first point is, what is the real meaning of truth? Right? What is the real meaning of truth? Right? And the real meaning of truth is that which is consistent with reality. And I know I just read the definition and it sounds similar, but I'm saying it straight up. I'm saying the definition like clear as day. And that is, truth is that which is consistent with reality. Just don't miss that. That which is consistent with reality. That is the truth, right? So when a person say 1 plus 1 equals 2, that is the truth, right? That is being consistent with reality, right? And so when we understand that basis, that definition of truth, we could better understand reality, because most people don't want to live in reality. There are certain people who don't want to live in truth, and because of that, they're not in tune with reality. And those people who are not in tune with reality tends to, they should be in the crazy box. They should be in the crazy house. So just keep that in mind. All right. My second point is, what does truth symbolizes as? And truth symbolizes as light, right? So imagine truth as light. And the more truth you have, the more light you have. Because in this world of darkness, you need truth, right? Like catch this. You see, ever since we drove out of the Garden of Eden, right? And we're not in God's presence and we don't have access to the spirit realm the way we used to back in the garden. Everything is in darkness. We are in darkness now. We've lost access to the ultimate light, which is God, right? Because in the Bible, when they describe God as in great light, it's not just the physical light. It's talking about all truths, because since God is all knowing, it's talking about all truths. And so when you understand truth is basically light, metaphorically, you could better understand the world, because we are in a world of darkness. The reason why certain people have a job and certain people are deceiving people with scams and other trickery is because these people are taking advantage of people who are in the dark. And people who are in the dark, they can't see in the dark. And when you can't see in the dark, you can't see your left, you can't see your right, you can't see your side, you can't see your back, you can't see anywhere. And so there are certain night creatures who can see in the dark, right? I.e. demons, i.e. those humans who working with demons. These people are night creatures. And when you are in a world of darkness with these night creatures that can see in the dark, when you don't have any light, you are vulnerable. You are vulnerable to their tricks and schemes. That's why if you go and watch a magic show, right? And let's say the magician does his little trick. That's why people are amazed. It's like, aha, it's like, wow, how did he do that? Because you don't know how he did it, because you're in darkness. You have ignorance. But if you figure out how he did it to the T, if you know how he did that magic trick, then it wouldn't be impressive to you, because you're no longer ignorant. You're no longer in darkness, right? And so you have to keep that in mind. right? Because most people in this world, especially those who are at the very top, those elites, are taking advantage of people's ignorance. Because we live in this dark world, metaphorically, and because most people don't have truth, i.e., light, in this dark world, that's why people get taken advantage of. That's why people get taken advantage of, right? So that's the truth of the matter, right? So truth symbolized as light, and the more truth you have, the more light you have. That's why when a person goes to school and the teacher says, "Oh, this student is bright." This student is bright because this student has more truth than the other person, right? So what I mean, a side note, when a person has more truth than the other guy, that person who has more truth than the other guy automatically becomes that person's teacher if he decides to teach the person with less light, less truth. So the more truth you have, the more light you have, which leads to my third point. What is the benefits of having truth? And the benefits of having truth is having power, because knowledge is power. The more truth you have, the more knowledge you have, the more power you have, right? Everything in this world today that people have, from their jobs to even in religion, relationships, and business, it's all based on truths. It's all based on knowledge. And the more knowledge you have, the more truth you have, the more power you have. And the more power you have, the more control you have over reality. Right? The reason why certain rich people are at the top, and the reason why certain people are making so much money, is because they possess a certain knowledge, a certain truth that the population, the masses, don't have. This is why there's a secret society guarding certain truths, because they know that by guarding certain truth, they're a step above everyone else who don't have the truth, who don't have the light. And with truth, truth is not discriminatory. Truth is not, there is no bias towards it. Truth is just truth. So so for example, if a Satanist says 1 + 1 = 2, that Satanist would be right. Never mind he's a Satanist, that's just the truth. And the more truth you have, the more enlightened you get. And the more enlightened you get, and the more informed you get, the more power you have. And thus, that's how you have more control, and therefore that's how you have a higher positioning in life. All right. So this concludes the topic of today of truth, because in Truth City, our decree is the more truth we have in our city, the more our city prospers. That's my goal as the mayor of Truth City, right? I don't know about any other city, but the goal of this mayor is that I want my city to embrace more truths. And the more truth a person have, the more powerful a person gets. The more truth a nation have, the more powerful a nation gets. That's why the Native Indians got wiped out by the Europeans, not because of their white skin, not because they were stronger, not because, they come from a good family or they have good genetics. No, it's because they knew something that the Native Indians didn't. The Native Indians didn't know certain weaponry or other stuff. And that's why the Europeans overtake the Native Indians, because the Europeans had more truth than the Native Indians, and therefore that's why they overtake them. It had nothing to do with their white skin or anything of the matter. That's it. So just to conclude and just to summarize, and as a reminder, is that the more truth you have, the more knowledge you have. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have. And the more power you have, the more control you have over reality. That's just the truth of the matter. So this is the mayor of Truth City signing out.